A beautiful look at the Minneapolis skyline for Game 3 of this American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. The scene shifts to a frenzied Metrodome in Minneapolis, where the Minnesota Twins will try to keep this American League Division Series and this baseball stadium alive as the Yankees lead the best-of-5 set 2-0. And hello again, everybody, along with Craig Sager and Ron Darling. I'm Chip Carey. Welcome to Game 3. Yankees have a 2-0 edge, courtesy of a Mark Teixeira walk-off home run in the bottom half of the 11th inning on Friday night. Ronnie, this Yankees ball club, so many heavy expectations from opening day onward. Looks like in postseason play, they're meeting all of them.
Well, think about it. Who has the most expectations? Of course, it's Alex Rodriguez. Ironically enough, the last time he hit for such a high average, hit .421 in 2004 postseason against his same Twins. And against these Minnesota pitchers, he has been torrid. 4 hits, all have produced RBIs, and of course, the biggest one in the 9th inning, the 2-run home run off Joe Nathan, who had not given up a home run to a runner on base this season. That was the big difference.
Big comeback numbers for Alex Rodriguez in postseason play. And speaking of big comebacks, you cannot count out this Minnesota ball club in this ballpark. Remember, friends, they won 17 of 21 games down the stretch to force that one-game play-in with the Detroit Tigers, a game they won in this ballpark. And so, Ronnie, very clearly down 2-0. The Twins need more Metrodome magic, and boy, do they need ex-Yankee Carl Pavano to pitch a huge game tonight.
They really do. They need a little hitting also, but Pavano, ironically enough, now had a big 4-year contract with the Yankees. Did not work out, only made 26 starts and 9 wins, but he's healthy again. He won 14 games this year with Cleveland and Minnesota, 5-4 with the Twins.
Well, a big game for Carl Pavano. Andy Pettitte knows a thing or two about big games for the Yankees. He'll take the ball for Joe Girardi as New York tries to sweep away the Twins here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Starting lineups, Twins and Yankees are coming up next.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is presented by BlackBerry and brought to you in part by Majestic Apparel. Majestic is the official apparel of Major League Baseball. Pick up yours today at MLB.com. By Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Avis, we try harder.
Thankfully, we are playing indoors tonight in Minneapolis. The weather conditions inside, very comfortable, 68 degrees, but 39 degrees outside. A very windy evening, chance of snow overnight here in Minneapolis. So the Twins and Yankees very happy that they won't have to worry about any weather issues for Game 3 of this ALDS. In fact, this ALDS series coverage on TBS brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Third member of our broadcast team tonight, as always, is Craig Sager. Good evening, Craig.
Well, thanks, Chip. Minnesota catcher Joe Mauer has been battling a hip flexor throughout this series. And he said tonight he has a little more pep in his step. The reason why? He has a HydroWorks pool and underwater treadmill in his house. And he says since last Friday's disappointing loss, he has basically been living in it. He tweaked the hip last Tuesday night in that tiebreaker against Detroit when he fell to the turf rounding first base. At the time, he said he didn't think it was hurt very badly, but he knew he had tweaked it. Since then, it has bothered him. In the 3 games, he has been on base 10 times and has caught all 31 innings. He said tonight, fortunately, he feels that if he gets on base, he'll also be able to score. Chip, Ron?
All right, Craig, thank you very much. And Joe Mauer certainly has had a very productive series at the plate, 4 for 8. Very good batting average, but he has yet to drive in a run so far for this Minnesota team.
I got rid of the hydro tub in my house.
You did?
We needed more closet space.
Well, the Twins are indeed hoping not to stop believing. They need a big, big comeback tonight. They're down 2-0 and facing a Yankee club that is really rolling so far in the postseason. Derek Jeter leads off. He'll be the shortstop. Johnny Damon in left field bats second. Mark Teixeira was Friday night's hero. He will hit third. Alex Rodriguez, a big series at third base, is the cleanup man. Hideki Matsui, the designated hitter. Jorge Posada back in the starting lineup behind the plate, with Robinson Cano at second, Nick Swisher in right, and Melky Cabrera, the center fielder, batting ninth. Carl Pavano is the man on the mound trying to extend this series and extend the baseball life of the Metrodome for the Twins tonight.
Well, we were talking about it before. Here's the starts he had in the regular season with Minnesota. He won 14 games total, 14-12 for Cleveland and Minnesota, and he has been a great addition to the clubhouse, according to manager Ron Gardenhire. Look at the scouting report. Excellent changeup. He can throw it at any count. He's healthy again for the first time since he won 18 games for the Florida Marlins. And of course, he has that extra motivation. Almost a $40 million contract. Only started 26 times. Won 9 games over those 4 years for the Yankees. Go a total flop trying to resurrect his career.
In fact, Carl Pavano said, quote, the Yankees portion of his career was really a black period in his career because of all those injuries, the expectations. He had the Tommy John surgery, but only this season has he been able to put it all back together with 14 wins so far on the year at 199 1/3 innings pitched in the regular season. We're back on the field turf tonight in Minneapolis. The defense of the Twins will be very important for Pavano tonight.
Well, Gomez is gone. It'll be Young, Span, and Kubel in right field. Of course, Harris, Cabrera, Puntos had a nice series at second base, and Michael Kadire at first. And MVP, everything, Joe Mauer behind the plate.
So Pavano finishing up his warm-up tosses before Game 3 tonight. Took him a little longer than normal to begin his long toss routine before the game began. The Twins in pregame ceremonies had a marching band playing down the left field line, which was where Pavano plays long toss before the game.
And the pitching coach, Rick Anderson, was trying to tell the band, why didn't you set up in right field? That's where the Yankees are. And you can see that's the band before the game. Pavano and pitching coach Rick Anderson were perplexed. And they were just had a little laugh about it, but still, you would want them to set up on the other side, but that was not to be.
So Derek Jeter for the Yankees, ready to lead things off against Carl Pavano here at the Metrodome. Jeter has had a very good series so far. He's 3 for 6 with a homer and has scored 4 times in the first 2 games. Brendan Harris even with the bag over at third, just in case Jeter thinks about a bunt. And a quick strike from Carl Pavano.
Well, Pavano's appeared against the Yankees 2 times in the postseason. 9 innings pitched, only 1 run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. So he's been outstanding.
Chopper hit toward Cabrera at short. And Jeter is out number 1. That'll bring up left fielder Johnny Damon, who's 1 for 8 so far in the series. 5 for 12 lifetime against Carl Pavano. Pavano, by the way, in regular season play pitched real well against the Yankees too. Gave up just 4 earned runs in his 2 starts. And a quick strike has Damon behind in the count.
Well, that would be the key, right? Jeter and Damon both first pitch strikes. That opens up that plate for Carl Pavano for his changeup, slider.
One ball, 1 strike to Johnny Damon, who hit 24 home runs in the regular season, drove in 82 men. That wide open left-hand batting stance. And Pavano fooled him.
Crowd a little different than it was here when we were here on Tuesday. Not at a fever pitch yet, waiting for the Twins to show them something first.
That first run will be very big as to the impact of this crowd, I think, tonight. And Damon down swinging. That was a nasty pitch from Pavano. And the crowd starts to wave those homer hankies. 2 up, 2 down.
Just a beautiful changeup from Carl, straight down on that plate.
picked up, as we've seen many times now by Mauer, who uses that backhand to pick up those, scoop those balls in the dirt, not traditionally like most catchers falling to his knees and blocking the baseball.
Mark Teixeira bats. Shift is on now for the Twins defense. 3 defenders on the right side of the Minnesota infield, as Pavano ahead of Mark Teixeira, 0-1. Teixeira hit a home run Friday night that left Yankee Stadium at light speed, right down the left field line in the 11th inning.
Well, it was less than 3 seconds, I believe, as he hit this ball that most, even his hitting coach Kevin Long, thought was not going to go on the ballpark because it was hit too hard and it was coming down, but just caught the top of that cement and bounced into the stands.
Broken bat pop up right side, and a very good start for Carl Pavano. Yankees unable to hit the ball out of the infield against him. Andy Pettit to the mound in the middle of the first inning. Good start for Carl Pavano in the top half of the first inning. Now the Twins are coming up against Andy Pettit. And Ron Gardenhire's lineup looks this way, with Denard Span starting things off in center field. Orlando Cabrera, the shortstop. Joe Mauer, 3 batting titles, hits third. Michael Cuddyer, the cleanup man. Jason Kubel is in right field. Delman Young in left. Brendan Harris. Jose Morales is the designated hitter, hitting 8th. And Nick Punto, the second baseman, is batting 9th against the veteran Andy Pettit, who went 14-8 in the regular season. And a little help for Jorge Posada for Andy Pettit, getting some liquid paper, I guess, on the fingernails to help Andy see the signs behind the plate inside the dome.
I pitched here before. It's very difficult to see the signs from the catcher, so Andy getting a little help.
Denard Span 4 for 11 in the series. Hits a high hopper towards second, and Robinson Cano handles that ball cleanly. 1 up and 1 down in the first.
Well, you mentioned it, Chip. These are the stats on Andy Pettit this season. Great thing has always been his durability. 14 wins this season, almost 200 innings pitched, and the scouting report, he's almost had a career in the postseason. 35 starts, 14 wins, 218 innings pitched. Carpet cutters, this is his first postseason start on this field turf, on the carpet, in his career, which is hard to believe. And a rested bullpen. This is what happened with these days off for Joe Girardi. It's allowed, you can have a guy like Pettit go 5, maybe 6 innings. That's all he has to go with that rested bullpen.
And that's why they chose this series setup, so that they could use their bullpen in its entirety each and every game in the first 3 of this postseason series with the Twins. Orlando Cabrera, the batter. 1 ball, no strikes. Right through there with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Cabrera so hugely important for this Minnesota ball club. His arrival allowed Nick Punto to move to second, short up their middle infield defense, and they have raved about his leadership abilities in that Minnesota clubhouse since they acquired him.
But other than Span, Mauer, and probably Brendan Harris, really not a lot of production offensively from Orlando so far in the series.
But he works the count full in front of Joe Mauer. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that is the patented look of Andy Pettit in the postseason. Driven in the air to right. Long run, Swisher still coming, and he makes the running catch.
Boy, nice play by Nick Swisher. He had a long way to go. Look at, he's gassed. As he raises the fingers and shows the 2 outs. Here's the defense for the New York Yankees. We've got Johnny Damon, Melky Cabrera, and Swisher with that fine catch. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. Lots of gold in that infield. And Jorge Posada behind the plate. Posada, of course, did not start in the second game of this series. Jose Molina caught A.J. Burnett. A.J. Burnett did a fine job.
You hear what the Twins fans think of Mauer's year. And you can certainly make an argument for him being the MVP. Third batting title, a .365 average, 28 homers, drove in 96, missed the first month of this season. Two balls, no strikes.
Andy Pettitte getting some boos. Don't throw at our guy now. He's from St. Paul. He's one of us.
Mauer 4 for 8 in the series. 4 for 10 in his career against Pettitte with a home run. And a strike over the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Twins haven't beaten the Yankees this year. 0-7 in the regular season, 0-2 so far in this postseason. They have to win tonight to force Game 4 tomorrow. And that ball rolled out towards second, and Andy Pettitte has a 1-2-3, bottom half of our first inning at the Metrodome. Scoreless game as we head to our second inning tonight. An MLB postseason en Espanol. Live MLB postseason Spanish language feed is available via SAP. Ron Darling, Craig Sager, Chip Carey back at the Metrodome, where Carl Pavano will face the postseason resurgent Alex Rodriguez. He has been on fire in the first 2 games against Minnesota.
4 hits. Every single one has produced at least an RBI. You know, they started to rest him in the middle of the year, Chip, after that hip surgery. And A-Rod entering today, including now the playoffs, following a day off, which they had yesterday, is 24 for his last 43. 5 home runs to 23 RBIs. That's off the planet numbers.
And that was something Joe Girardi spoke to us about at length and with regularity during the regular season. A-Rod coming off his hip surgery, with Jorge Posada coming off shoulder problems, some veteran older players on this team. The challenge for Girardi, he said, was to make the players understand that there's a big prize at the end of the year, and missing a game or 2 along the way will help them toward the goal of a potential world championship. And as those numbers would indicate, A-Rod is fresh at the perfect time for the Yankees.
Well, Chip, most ball players, everyday players, are made one way, and that is that they play every single day. So really, it's up to the manager to go up to them and make them sit sometimes. They want to be in there.
And that's lowered inside to Alex Rodriguez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A-Rod picked up an RBI hit in the 5th inning of Game 1 at Yankee Stadium. And it's as if the weight of the world was lifted from his shoulders since that point. And Pavano strikes him out. Second strikeout in the game.
The bigger the player, the bigger the slider, the bigger the crowd noise on this strikeout here to A-Rod. Good slider from Pavano West. All 3 pitches working. His changeup, fastball, and that slider.
So Hideki Matsui stands in for the first time tonight. And strike 1 from Pavano. Pavano has thrown strike one to every Yankee hitter he has seen so far in this game.
Nick Blackburn, the starter in Game 2 for the Minnesota Twins, did the exact same thing. It's not been a problem for the Twins to get up on the Yankees. The problem is maintaining that lead.
And the Twins in their trip to New York had 3 successive walk-off losses to the Yankees. Remember, they led Game 1 2-0 until Derek Jeter hit his game-tying 2-run home run and a 3-1 ninth-inning lead in Game 2 and couldn't hold it.
Well, if you are in the postseason and you get a lead in the 9th inning, you bring in your closer, and you not only give up that lead but lose the ball game, that starts getting your tee times for the country clubs early.
Just ask Jonathan Papelbon and the Red Sox today. As the Angels, down to their last strike, somehow came through and beat Boston and swept them in their divisional series matchup. So the winner of this series will face the Angels and not the Red Sox in the ALCS.
The winning hit was by Vladimir Guerrero, but the big hit was by Bobby Abreu off the monster in left field. And what an addition he has been for those Los Angeles Angels. Ex-Yank, of course, Bobby Abreu. And a guy left on scrap heap really this winter until the Angels signed him.
Looks like Pavano's on his A game. 2 up, 2 down, 3rd strikeout.
Well, at this point in his career, he's had Tommy John surgery. Pavano, not usually a guy who's going to strike out a lot of hitters. Usually gets a lot of ground balls, but he's had a couple extra days of rest and got his A game, like you said, Chip.
Well, I think people forget this man won 18 games in the big leagues one year. That was 2004 with the Marlins.
Well, that's what got him the big contract, of course, with the Yankees.
And a man who is a very young pitcher was traded with Tony Armas Jr. to the Expos for Pedro Martinez. That deal took place in November of 1997. You get traded for Pedro Martinez, you're a pretty big prospect. Pavano was. No balls and a strike to catcher Jorge Posada. And that just missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mark Wegner, by the way, our home plate umpire tonight for Game 3 of this series. And both these starters throwing surprisingly hard in the early innings.
Well, it's nothing like adrenaline, Chip. Pitching in these postseason games, sometimes you can be a little tired. You don't feel it. Your arm could be a little weaker. You don't feel it. You got that extra miles per hour.
Crowd standing in the second. And now a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Robinson Cano waits on deck.
Well, that 2-2 pitch, a fastball there from Pavano. I think you're going to see a lot of 3-2 changeups. If he gets to the 3-2 to the left-handed hitters, you're going to see a lot of changeups.
And it's bounced toward first. Ball played neatly by Kadire. Pavano does his job. 6 up and 6 men down in a scoreless Game 3. Middle of the order up for the Twins in the last of our second inning, and we invite you to visit TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner to sign up and watch live companion coverage of this game and every MLB postseason game. Cuddyer, Kubel, and Young are up for Minnesota, and Andy Pettitte jumps ahead of the Twins' first baseman with a foul ball back to the screen. And that one picked off the security guard down the left field line.
Well, he was the last one picked for dodgeball when he was a kid, I bet, because that one got him pretty good. Poor guy.
Cuddyer, a pop-up to first baseman Mark Teixeira. Guy's got handcuffs, you know. I'd be careful if I were you. Four up, four down.
I might not make it out of here, right?
Run away in the second inning. Here's Kubel. Well, this is the guy the Twins have to get going in the series. Jason finished the year with 103 RBIs, hit 300, popped 28 home runs. But he and the rest of his offensive mates have really struggled to make consistent contact. Kubel has struck out 6 times in 10 at-bats.
The common occurrence that happens in postseason play, Chip, is never that a guy is loafing. It's that you get guys who try too hard. And I think that's what's happened to Jason in this series so far.
And that's chopped foul and quickly out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's almost like they want to get out of their slump by hitting the ball 550 feet instead of, you know, taking it simple, getting a good pitch to hit, just hitting a line drive somewhere.
That ball tipped as Kubel tried to check his swing, and when you're struggling, those are the kinds of plays that happen almost every at bat. A tip or a check swing, and now he has to protect the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
As Andy's career has gotten a little older, he's done a nice job of changing the way he's pitched. He now will pitch lefties in. Never had to do that before. He'll raise the ball occasionally up in the strike zone when he needs to strike out.
As he gets one with Kubel, that's 25 strikeouts for the Twins offense so far in this series. 2 outs, nobody aboard as we take a look inside the Metrodome, courtesy of the PlayStation game MLB 09 The Show.
Well, the thing about the Metrodome is I did not like pitching here. There used to be an older carpet here that was very bouncy, and when you would play those good teams with Kirby Puckett and the like.
Delmon Young pops up the first pitch. Drifting back is Derek Jeter. No trouble with that field turf. And Andy Pettitte holds serve for the Yankees. He too has 6 up and 6 Twins hitters down. This American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. A cold, windy night outside the Metrodome. Very comfortable inside as we bring you Game 3 and a good-looking lid. You got to get one of those, man.
Before we leave,
yes,
Chip, I'm all over it.
Of course, the Twins next year will move into new Target Field, just a few blocks away from the Metrodome in time for the start of the 2010 season. And Robinson Cano will start things off indoors for New York. And another first pitch strike from Pavano, who's 7 out of 7 in that stat so far tonight. I wouldn't think that would make a hitter feel too comfortable to see the starting pitcher squinting in for the signs.
Also, Cano taking a long time to get back in that box. They're trying to maybe slow Pavano down a little bit, kind of disrupt his tempo.
That didn't miss by much. But miss it did. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Girardi led the Yankees to 103 regular season wins this year. And a broken bat bouncer to the left side. Brendan Harris to his left. 7 in a row set down by Pavano to start the game.
I believe Pavano had his back turned, never saw that bat as it went just whizzing by him.
Nick Swisher 1 for 8 in the series with an RBI. Hit 29 homers in the regular season and a .249 batting average. He's 8 for 8. Strike one. Big difference, is it not, as a starting pitcher to do that?
Big time, especially with this lineup. He's been great all season long, though. He's only allowed 1.76 base on balls per every 9 innings, which is second in the American League.
And there's no shame in finishing second to Roy Halladay in any statistic. That's where Pavano stands, and in front of his teammate Nick Blackburn. And Swisher just did stay alive at 0-2.
There's Rick Anderson, pitching coach, with the keeping the pitch count, of course. Rick Anderson was a former teammate of mine. You know how he pitched? Changed speeds and never walked anybody. So it doesn't
Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it?
Just like his staffs here in Minnesota.
But that is the Twins' way. Throw strikes. Pitched contact. And if the ball's hit to you, catch it. And they've done all of those things very, very well. As Swisher bends away from a 93-mile-an-hour pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It was interesting talking with Ron Gardenhire about Rick Anderson, and said, well, you know, what is, you know, you have Duncan and La Russa, you and Andy have been together for a long time. He says, I know nothing about pitching. Nothing. I just let Rick Anderson take care of all the pitchers. I ask him occasionally, is this guy done? He says yes. I go take him out.
2-2. And Nick, in the big leagues, it takes 4 for a base on balls. And he'll be the first guy to laugh about it.
Yeah, this is pretty funny. Thought it was 3-2. It was 2-2, and he probably figured out when everyone was looking at him funny that something happened or didn't happen.
Two outs. And 4 Pavano strikeouts already tonight.
Again, that good changeup. We said that when he gets the 3-2, did it to Posada for the ground out to first. Here with the strikeout to Swisher. Going to see a lot of 3-2 changeups to the left-handed hitters.
Here's Melky Cabrera, the Yankees center fielder. And the first batter to whom Pavano has thrown ball 1 to start the sequence.
You see both pitchers, Pettit and Pavano, hide their face with that glove. Just try to get those eyes fixated on the target.
Line foul over the Minnesota dugout. We showed you Andy Pettit. For so many years we saw Pettit do that while on the mound for the Yankees in postseason play. And a crackling fastball over the outside corner.
You saw Pavano pitch earlier this summer. He was not throwing 93 miles an hour. He's throwing more in the 88, 89 mile an hour range, but has a little extra life on his fastball tonight.
Breaking ball bounced up the middle. Punto dives and tries to make a miraculous play. And Melky Cabrera will have an infield hit with 2 outs.
Well, this ball hit up the middle. If this ball is hit on grass and dirt, that probably is an easy play for Punto. But on this field turf, it picks up speed, and that's why you have to have a diving play. But what an athletic play by Punto, and then tries to flip it under, and it just bounces over to Cuddyer.
And it's not the first hop that gets the infielder on the artificial surface.
Never is. It's that second, third. It just picks up speed. You know, we talked to Joe Girardi before the game today. He said one point that is a weakness, Achilles heel for Pavano, Carl Pavano, is that he's allowed 33 stolen bases this year. When they get on, they're going to try to run.
And a bouncing ball up the middle. Cabrera's got it. He'll go the long way to first. And Derek Jeter and the Yankees are retired in the 3rd inning. Melky Cabrera has the first hit for New York, but we're still scoreless. Carl Pavano and Andy Pettitte looking sharp in the early innings of tonight's Game 3 from the Metrodome. And the lower portion of the order is up for the Twins. In their half of the 3rd inning, that'll be Harris, Morales, and Nick Punto. Harris 3 for 8 in this series with an RBI, and he has hit Andy Pettitte well. That's why he gets the start tonight at third base. As you caught in Game 2, Ronnie, there was a physical problem with Matt Tolbert that forced him out of that game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, the strained oblique got Harris into the lineup, hit that big triple, of course, to score the first run for the Twins.
And so Brian Busher has been activated and is on this Twins roster with Tolbert sidelined, and Harris had maybe the line that symbolized what took place for Minnesota in Game 2. They left 17 men on base in that defeat in New York, and Harris was quoted as saying their team, quote, left a small village on the base paths in that 1-run Yankee win. And way upstairs from Andy Pettitte. In fact, the Twins were the second team in postseason history in Game 2 to leave men on base in every inning of an extra inning game. That had not been done before since 1912 when the Giants did it in the World Series. So think of all the opportunities that Minnesota had to even up the series, only to see it go away on the Teixeira game-ending home run. Two balls, 2 strikes, and fouled straight back.
Love that little note you got if you read that at home. That was right. That was game number 8 of the 1912 World Series.
More on that in a second as Pettitte gets ready for another 2-2 pitch. And he missed with it low. Yeah, the Red Sox beat the Giants 4-3 with 1 tie. And the tie game was October 9th. 6-6 in 11 innings. And Harris doing what he's done in this series, Ronnie, forcing the pitch count of a Yankee starter up, fouling away some tough pitches, trying to keep this at bat alive, trying to be the first man to reach base tonight. This will be the 8th pitch he will see. And he chased a high fastball. Harris is retired for out number 1. And Joe Girardi amazed that Andy Pettitte doing something tonight he's never done before in postseason play.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. I didn't realize that. But Andy's the guy that we want in this situation. This can be a tough building to pitch in, and he's got so much experience. We like him here.
Pavano's done a nice job so far, Joe, throwing strikes, but you're going to try to take advantage of him if you can get on the bases and maybe be aggressive on the base paths.
Yeah, at times he can be slow, and guys have stolen a lot of bases off him. The thing we have to do is we have to get on, and he's done what we thought he's going to do. He's going to throw that sinker at the front hip of the left-handers and his good changeup, and he's mixed in his slider, so he's throwing the ball well.
We've talked a lot, Joe, about the rest and its importance on your bullpen. That's been a recurring theme for your everyday players, too, the importance of that day off here and there.
Yeah, I think it's great for our players because physically we're a little bit older. You know, sometimes you feel like you'd have too many days off, but this has really helped our bullpen.
And Joe Girardi not really concerned about the fact that his team, being an older club, playing on the field turf in the Metrodome tonight. And a liner foul into the Yankees dugout.
Where he's concerned, Chip, usually is during the season where you play maybe in Tampa Bay and back-to-back to Toronto and maybe here to Minnesota, that you like to give some of your everyday players a day off on this turf. You don't like to let them play 3 days in a row, and he'll do that a lot of times by using the DH position for some of his everyday infielders.
But he said 1 or 2 days, no major issue. As that ball swung on and missed by Morales, the designated hitter, and he's thrown out at first. Andy Pettitte has 3 strikeouts again tonight. Andy Pettitte pitching on artificial turf for the first time in his long postseason career.
36th postseason start. He's been involved in 11 ALDSs. And you'd have to make an argument that, at least of his generation, one of the top 5 postseason pitchers.
So Pettitte trying to pitch the Yankees into the ALCS. Nick Punto trying to reach against him and chops the first one toward short. Tough play, Jeter in, up and across, and the side is retired. Excellent pitching on display through 3. No score.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Well, let's see what happens second time through the lineup now in a scoreless game. 4th inning. Damon, Teixeira, Rodriguez for the Yankees. Johnny was a strikeout victim his first time, and Pavano again continues to get ahead of this New York offense. He's thrown strike 1 to 9 of 10 hitters to start the game.
Well, we saw this with Blackburn in the second game. He threw a lot of first pitch strikes, and the second and third time around the Yankees started swinging at the first pitch. Being interesting to see if they do that here.
You heard what Joe Girardi said. He likes to start that ball at the right hip of the left-hand hitters and let the ball die over the inside corner.
Good pitch if you make it, dangerous pitch if you miss, especially with a pull hitter like Damon.
He feasted, as you know, at Yankee Stadium. And now swings through for the 5th strikeout of the ball game. Carl Pavano, a big guy with big velocity, says his manager Ron Gardenhire tonight.
You know what, he's had an extra day or 2 to rest, and I imagine he's a little pumped up and amped up, and you know, he's a big guy. He can whip it when he wants to. The great thing about him, he tracks real good with that fastball, and then I think you've seen his other pitches too.
The Yankees big guy has been very good too, Pettitte.
Yeah, we've seen him a number of times, and he can snap it in there, and you know what, he's got that big fluid motion, and the ball comes out pretty nice.
I know you've had trouble holding leads. I'm sure you'd like to get one here and keep it tonight. What's the mindset of Joe Nathan should you get the lead tonight in the ninth?
Oh, I think he'll be fine. He's waiting for the moment. He'd like to get back out on the mound and shut it down and get us a save.
Our thanks to both Joe Girardi and Ron Gardenhire for joining us throughout this series.
They see way too much of us, Chip, by the way, the managers.
Yes.
For you guys at home, we see them every afternoon, and we get a chance to really sit down with them and go over the last game and the game that they're about to play.
A high fastball to first baseman Mark Teixeira, who popped out to end the Yankees first. My sense, walking through the Twins clubhouse before the game, was a very loose bunch. I mean, look, we know the Twins have their backs up against the proverbial wall. If they don't win, their season's over. But they have shown an amazing ability to do the seemingly impossible, winning 17 of 21 down the stretch in the regular season, forcing the one-game playoff with the Tigers, winning that game, and giving the Yankees a big battle in the first two of this series. Just missed outside. Full count. Strike three call. It's a new career postseason high for Pavano. His 6th strikeout takes care of Teixeira. 2 outs.
Teixeira telling home plate umpire that he thought that ball was up in the strike zone. This is our pitch tracks. It's kind of a representation of the strike zone, of course. Doesn't change according to the heights of the batters, but it will very close. Could have caught that corner. Not only does that ball come back over the plate chip, but it sinks just a little bit. So the left-handed hitter, once he gives up on that baseball, doesn't realize that it comes down another 6 inches or so.
So Teixeira 0 for 2. Alex Rodriguez bats ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. A-Rod struck out in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. Only Melky Cabrera has reached for the Yankees. That an infield hit.
Sometimes the umpiring crew can be kind of thematic in the way they work, and Chuck Merriweather's home plate, his strike zone was to call the high pitch also in the 2nd game of the series. So that has been a theme for these umpires in this crew.
Do you like that?
I like anything that's a strike, Chip.
Spoken like a true pitcher.
But it gets the the game going. It gives a tempo to the game.
Ground ball sharply hit towards second. Punto vacuums it up, and Carl Pavano is through the 4th inning in order. Coming to TBS this November, Put Your Hands Together, America. George Lopez is bringing the party back to late night. Lopez tonight, weeknights at 11, 10 Central, starting November 9th only on TBS. Carl Pavano has looked very good in his 2nd time through the Yankee batting order. Now we'll see what Andy Pettitte can do. He has set down the first 9 Twins he has seen tonight. And Denard Span shows bunt, takes the ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Span, born and raised in Tampa, was the Twins' 1st-round pick in 2002. And fouls that off Jorge Posada, and that evens the count.
He went to Tampa Catholic, didn't he? Tampa Catholic High School, where Tony La Russa went, Dave Magadan, I believe Lou Piniella.
I'll have to take your word on Uncle Lou. 1 ball and 1 strike to Span. And that caught the inside corner. Denard didn't think so.
Well, this is what Andy's done a lot better over the last few seasons, is he has pitched in to the left-handed hitters. He used to be really one-dimensional because his stuff was so sharp he could stay away from the lefties with that fastball and slider.
Came inside again and nearly hit Span with that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The good thing about using this pitch inside on Denard is that now you've made him so conscious of that pitch inside. It really opens up that outside part of the plate for any kind of pitch.
And he chased the ball over the inside corner, and Pettitte strikes him out. That's 4 strikeouts for Andy in the game. 10 up, 10 down for Andy Pettitte.
We'll have to find out where Pavano and Pettitte ate last night. They found the fountain of youth, didn't they? Both very sharp early in this game.
Here is Orlando Cabrera, the only Twin to hit the ball into the outfield tonight. That ball was tracked down by Nick Swisher in right field. And a strike over the outside corner. And by the way, Lou Piniella did not go to Tampa Cafe.
Didn't?
He did not.
Where'd he go?
Jesuit High School of Tampa. Says his biography.
Can't get anything past you and Hal, I'll tell you that.
Did Cabrera go around? Yes, he did. 0-2.
Well, you see from the side angle that a lot of times you'll see that from the hitters. Not that they're really trying to swing at the pitch, they're trying to get out of the way, and it makes an appearance that they followed through.
Now it's Cabrera's turn to step out and try to disrupt the rhythm of Pettit here in the 4th inning. And that's a little low. The only caveat we'll have to give with Lou Piniella's high school, they could have renamed it, we just don't know. But according to the biography we have, Jesuit High School of Tampa. 1 ball, 2 strikes, bases clear, 4th inning, scoreless game. Good cut by Cabrera, fouled back. Winner of this series will face the Angels in the American League Championship Series, a far different scenario than the Yankees had to face on Tuesday. You'll recall the Tigers and Twins played here in that very long game 163 that ebbed back and forth. And a looping line drive is caught behind second by Robinson Cano. And 11 in a row retired by Pettit to start the game.
Well, you've got to be a baseball fan as he's waving his homer hanky. See where his seats are. Very last row, highest section in right center field. Amazing. Got to love baseball if you want to come and have that seat.
And they've got another packed house here tonight. They had a record crowd for that matchup with the Tigers. Here at the Metrodome, they drew 54,088 that night. That was the largest ever baseball crowd in this building's history. And Minnesota again hoping to extend the life of the Metrodome. This could be the last baseball game played here. As Joe Mauer looks at a called strike. Boy, think of the great players who've played in this building, the great memories, the World Series championships.
87 and 91, of course. Central Division champions 5 of the last 8 seasons under Ron Gardenhire. Countdown to outdoor baseball. Watch out what you wish for. It's kind of cold tonight.
Yes, and snow in the forecast for tomorrow. But we won't have to worry about that as we'll be playing inside. 12 up, 12 down. Andy Pettit matching Carl Pavano pitch for pitch. What a night. Scoreless game already. We head to the 5th inning at the Dome.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And by Michelin, a better way forward.
Ronnie, you look hungry. Let's see if we can get some of that kettle corn here in the 5th inning in Minneapolis. Hideki Matsui will lead things off. Both catchers' gloves are popping so far tonight, too. Pavano has struck out 6 men. That's a new career postseason high. Andy Pettit, with 5 strikeouts for the Yankees, is perfect through 4. And again, the theme for Pavano has been strike 1 all night.
And it's been the 3 pitches. He's thrown slider, first pitch strike, which he did right there, fastball and changeup.
Matsui, who hit that mammoth home run into Monument Park at Yankee Stadium. That's highlighted his postseason to this point. As Phil Cuzzy says, no swing.
Well, from the side angle, we'll see Matsui. Does he hold the bat back? It looks like he did. Looks like he did. They're more strict with that nowadays. More apt to call it.
And a line drive into center field off the bat of Matsui. A leadoff single for the Yankees. That starts our 5th inning. Again, we check in with Craig Sager tonight. Craig.
Well, a lot of Yankee fans watching this game are probably saying this is not the Carl Pavano we saw in New York. After signing that 4-year, just under $40 million contract before the 2005 season, he appeared in only 26 games, winning just 9. Brian Cashman, the senior vice president and general manager for the Yankees, who signed him to that contract, is here tonight, and I asked him how surprised he is to see Pavano on this stage performing like this. He said not at all. When he's healthy, he's very good. He's pitched well against us this year, just as he did before he signed the contract. When healthy, he's very capable, and he's one of the reasons why Minnesota is here.
You're right about that, Craig. As we said, he won 18 games in 2004 with the Marlins, coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Pitched over 220 innings that year for the Marlins.
And again, traded for Pedro Martinez. I mean, that in and of itself tells you this guy has an awful lot of talent.
Well, don't forget, too, the history of this is that Brian Cashman took a lot of heat for that signing also. But he always stayed behind Pavano in the way that, listen, he wasn't healthy. If you're not healthy, can't always perform.
1 ball, 1 strike to catcher Jorge Posada, who bounced out to first with the pitcher covering his first time up.
I think the thing that really hurt Carl was when he was with the Yankees. He was in a car crash in 2006 and hurt his ribs, kind of held it from the team because he had been hurt so many times he didn't want to reveal that he was hurt again from the car accident. And of course, today's world, always going to find out about that kind of stuff, and they did.
Line drive into left field. Young coming on, diving try. Did he come up? He did. Tim Sheeta about 15 feet away from the play, had an eagle-eyed look at that. Fine catch by Delmon Young.
Good point, Chip. Having the extra umpire gets him really close to be able to call that defensive play, and fine catch by Delmon Young. There's always, as you see Pavano's reaction, there's always that split second with the outfielder. Do I take the chance or not? And he picked the right choice.
And he had to come in about 15 feet from where he stands now. If that ball gets by him, the Yankees are ranging around the base paths. Instead, a man aboard, 1 out for Robinson Cano. And a hot shot. Cuddyer will tag the runner, step on the bag, and how about that double play?
Well, the little things. The key is right here, Cuddyer, because Matsui's not going to run with those knees. He can play off the base. That gets him better into the hole to be able to make that play. And you say, where's Matsui going? Well, Matsui's going to wait for the ball to clear and then proceed to second. But Cuddyer with the great play.
So a double play on a ground ball to first ends the top half of this 5th inning. Now Cuddyer starts things off, and Pettit has been perfect so far. 12 men up and 12 men down.
Yankee fans, of course, will remember that Andy had perfection working in Baltimore this summer. Retired the first 20 hitters, 20 Oriole hitters.
Hot shot ends that. Base hit by Cuddyer leads off the 5th inning. And that bid for perfection for Andy Pettit, August 31st at Camden Yards. A game the Yankees won by a 5-1 score. So now he has to go to the stretch with Cuddyer aboard leading off the 5th.
Well, that was nice hitting. Good pitch by Pettit down. Better hitting by Cuddyer.
Now, Ron Gardenhire said with the Twins down 2-0 that they would have to take a few more chances on the base paths and force the issue offensively. That is a dangerous gambit, though, against Andy Pettitte.
Andy Pettitte, the most pickoffs since they started tracing that in '74, 97 pickoffs. I mean, he has a move to first base that if you're 3 feet off, I've seen him pick people off. That's how good it is.
And as a starting pitcher, when you're on the kind of roll that he's been on, pitching out of the windup for the first 4 innings, now you go to the stretch. How difficult is it to keep your motion in order?
Well, usually it won't be difficult for a guy like Andy Pettitte with his experience.
Roller slowly hit toward first and foul.
He's seen it all, right, in postseason, regular season, so he knows there's a little trick words you can tell yourself when you're a veteran pitcher that, you know, you had perfection. Let's make sure that we know we're in the stretch. Use your legs, all those different little things.
Andy Pettitte tied with Tom Glavine for second in postseason wins all time. John Smoltz leads the way with 15. Pettitte can tie him if he can win this game and this series for New York tonight. Jason Kubel has an even count. And a line drive. It's under the glove of Cano and into right field. Swisher loads up, throws to second, and that's a force play. A 9-6 force out takes care of Cuddyer at second base. And a ball under the glove of Robinson Cano turns into a big break for New York.
Well, I don't think you can really fault Cuddyer here. This is a play that Cano should make. So Cuddyer did a nice job of freezing, was going back to first, and by the time it skipped under the glove, of course, gave Swisher just enough time for the force out at second base. And have the plays around second base from Gomez to Cuddyer been a problem for the Twins so far in this series.
So runner at first with 1 out for Delmon Young. He popped out his first time, and he pops this ball up into shallow center field. Cabrera gives way to Cano, who ranges deep into shallow right center, and that is your second out. We are still scoreless, 5th inning. Back to Atlanta for an update with Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you, Chip. Chase game break. In case you missed it, Vlad Guerrero, a 2-run single in the 9th, capping a 3-run 9th inning for the Angels. They come from behind, beat the Red Sox 7-6, and complete a 3-game sweep. They wait for the winner of this series. Back to you.
Okay, Ernie, thank you very much. Twins hoping to force Game 4 here in the Metrodome tomorrow night. They have a man aboard with 2 outs in Brendan Harris, who struck out his only time up. And there is that pickoff play at first, and Kubel almost picked off, as you said, 3 feet off the bag.
How about the luck that Kubel has? Anyways, hits a rope. It's going to be a base hit probably, and ends up field's choice. He's right there leaning towards first and almost gets picked off. Boy, very close as he got the tag on that hip.
Ground ball toward Alex Rodriguez. He will go to second, and the Twins settle for a leadoff hit. They break up the perfect game bid for Andy Pettitte, but our game's still scoreless. Great pitching through 5 tonight. We hope for the same in our nightcap tonight on TBS. We will have Game 3 of the National League Division Series featuring the Phillies and the Colorado Rockies from Coors Field. Jay Happ for the Phillies, Jason Hamill for Colorado. Brian Anderson and Joe Simpson are standing by with the call of that ball game after our Twins-Yankees Game 3 tonight from the Metrodome.
Do they have their cashmere coats on? That's what I want to know. It'll be very cold there.
And Jay Happ has been a very pleasant surprise for the Phillies. A chance to be the Rookie of the Year in the National League. 8-0 after a Philly loss this year in regular season play. And if he can win tonight in the frozen tundra of Coors Field,
that's right,
they'll take a 2-1 series lead. Swisher starts it off for New York. He struck out swinging after trying to coax a walk on a 3-ball count. And while he was smiling at that time, that really is kind of the recurring theme for this New York ball club with Nick Swisher this year. He's added a lot of levity to this team. Driven high in the air toward right. And that ball into foul ground and out of play.
Swisher is one of those guys that just keeps talking all day long. And, you know, when you have those kind of guys, they really, you know, we asked Joe Girardi about his club this year, and he said, you know, we just have a lot of boisterous, fun guys, and it's made the clubhouse fun. Same for Ron Gardenhire's team also.
And Joe said something else that I thought was very interesting about this point about Swisher in the clubhouse mood. Has Nick down swinging. Mauer will throw him out at first. Girardi said it is the cast of characters that determines the demeanor of a clubhouse, not the temperament of the manager.
It's very interesting. I honestly kind of disagree with that in a way. I think that in some ways, I think Joe has become a lot lighter as he's gone on the years of managing. I mean, think about it this year. They had a pool party where they had everyone, not in the swimming pool, of course, go and playing pool, and had guys going up against each other instead of a spring training day. They kind of just took the day off.
Ground ball sharply hit up the middle. Cabrera to his left, throws to first in time. And Melky Cabrera is out number 2. Pavano just continues to roll merrily along. And Derek Jeter hits with the bases clear as we look at tonight's leaderboard, brought to you by John Hancock. Derek Jeter certainly has enjoyed hitting the ball the other way at Yankee Stadium. And not just there, but everywhere. As you see, 77 hits, second only to the Twins' Joe Mauer. He's hit the ball to short twice in tonight's game and is 0 for 2.
Well, the hit chart for Derek Jeter, of course, always know that he will spray the ball all over the ballpark. 50s in left, 50s in center, and of course 77 in right field. He had one name on that board, Billy Butler, the best player you don't know about. Had a great year for Kansas City.
Yankees shaking their heads at the stuff of Carl Pavano. His fastball's been in the low 90s. And his changeup has been a real devastating pitch so far tonight. He has struck out 7 men and allowed just 2 hits. There's that shot to right by Jeter, and that kisses the chalk fair. And Jeter on his way to second, where he will stand with 2 outs. Chuck Merriweather, the call down the right field line.
Well, that ball sailed right by Chuck Merriweather. This is a good pitch here by Carl Pavano. A little slider on the outside corner, but good hitting by Derek Jeter as he just hits that down the right field line. Chuck's got the best view and right on the chalk.
Merriweather got it right, and now Jeter in scoring position with 2 outs for Johnny Damon. You know, the Twins fans are frustrated that Merriweather got that call right after the adventures of Phil Cuzzi in Game 2 in New York. Swing and a miss by Johnny Damon, who has struck out twice in tonight's game. Three hits for the Yankees, trying to break through in the 6th.
Postseason career, 110 at bat for 2 strikes, 1 RBI. Interesting, Chip. These Yankee hitters have taken a little different approach here the second and third time through. Matsui with the base hit up the middle. Posada, the line drive that Dylan Young made a great catch on. They're starting to hit the ball the other way up Pavano. Well, that's their approach.
He got it. The Yankees waste a Derek Jeter double with 2 outs. 8 strikeouts for Carl Pavano through 6.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And by Northwestern Mutual, bringing you insurance, investments, ideas.
Twins are up for the bottom half of inning number 6 in Game 3 of the American League Division Series. Andy Pettitte and Carl Pavano have been dazzling tonight. Pettitte has struck out 5 men. And he's allowed just 1 hit. That a hit by Michael Cuddyer leading off inning number 5 tonight.
Well, this game has reminded me of one of the greatest games that ever happened here in the Metrodome. Jack Morris, John Smoltz. Shutout baseball by both.
That was Game 7 of the '91 World Series between the Twins and the Braves. And a ball downstairs to the designated hitter for Minnesota. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Morales struck out swinging. The 8th of 12 in a row set down by Pettitte to start tonight's game. Ron Gardenhire said that Morales looked a little overwhelmed in Game 163 against the Tigers. That puts him back in there for another right-handed bat against Andy Pettitte tonight. And he chops the ball to Derek Jeter at short. And he throws off balance right on target. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ronnie, let's check out our Travelers mid-game recap. Pitching the story in Game 3.
They both have been outstanding. Pavano's done a nice job inside to the left-handed hitters. And Pettitte has everything working too. He's got that good cutter, down and in for the right-handed hitters, thrown a couple of change-ups, gone up with the fastball occasionally. Both pitchers just on top of their game.
Nick Punto, the batter, he rolled to short and takes a called strike. There are some who feel that as Punto goes, the Twins go. In the regular season, when he scored a run, they won 36 of 48 games. And he has swung the bat well in this series against New York. Again to Derek Jeter. Double punches, but has plenty of time. And 2 are out for Denard Span, who will blink first in Game 3 tonight. Tough inning ahead for Carl Pavano. Teixeira, Rodriguez, and Matsui looking ahead to the 7th inning. Slashed out of play by Denard Span.
You know, the problem here, Chip, is even if you had Span thinking about maybe bunting to get on, it's not a good play because Pettitte has too good of a move at first base. Very hard to steal a base. Got to try to hit something in the gap.
Back up the middle and into center field. So Span has the 2nd Minnesota hit. He stole 23 bags in the regular season. We'll see if they take a 6th inning chance with 2 out.
Right back up through the box. Andy almost got a glove on that baseball. And both of these pitchers going the way they are, it's really the at-bats that you have to take. Just try to hit the ball back through the box.
If you send Span and he's thrown out, you still start the 7th with Orlando Cabrera in front of Mauer. Let's see if Ron Gardenhire indeed tries to push the envelope with Span a foot on the turf at first.
A lot of times what base runners will do against Andy Pettitte, especially if you are a guy who likes to steal, get out on that carpet, but have the feel that you're going to go back to first because you want to see his move. But usually Andy counters with a good move, but not his best move. Again, not the good move by Andy Pettitte, just keeping Span over there. I talked about it before. They started tracking the pickoffs in 1974, 97, most all time.
No movement from first as Pettitte misses high, and now Jorge Posada wants to talk things over.
Well, even with the veteran pitcher, I think Posada's going to tell Pettitte here, listen, you've thrown over the first twice. You know, don't lose your concentration on the batter by being fixated on Span at first base. It's got to be easier for that manager to recognize when Andy is in a bad way or a good way. He caught Andy Pettitte many times, 8 postseason starts catching Andy.
And he missed low again. Last thing Pettitte wants to do is nibble too much with Cabrera, for Mauer would come up with 2 men on in the home half of the 6th. Down the right field line and just beyond the Yankee bullpen. 2 balls and a strike. If you see Span run, fans will wonder how many men Posada threw out. The opponents were 80 for 111 this year, a 72% success rate in stealing bases against Jorge Posada this year. Another half foot out on the carpet. He's going. Pitch a breaking ball, called a ball, and it's an easy steal.
I think Andy Pettitte and Jorge Posada wanted a strike on this pitch. Let's look at the breaking pitch on Pitch Tracks. Looks like a pretty good pitch by Andy. Did it go around the plate? No avail though. Span with that big stolen base.
He can really fly as the crowd sees a 3-1 count. And now it's Mauer time. Joe Mauer does not yet have an RBI in this series. We talked earlier about the importance of the game's first run. A big opportunity for Minnesota, albeit with 2 men out.
Well, this is the fight, isn't it, between both the pitcher and the hitter, is that Andy Pettitte knows that with the way Pavano's pitching, he can't give up a run. And Joe Mauer's thinking that this might be the last chance you get off Pettitte.
And as we know, Mauer will hit the ball the other way. Alex Rodriguez well off the line at third. Base hit left field. Here comes Span around third. There'll be no play, and the Twins score first.
This is what makes him such a tough hitter. And he misses with the pitch over the plate. He doesn't try to do too much. A lot of hitters in that situation try to hit a home run or hit something in the gap. Was content to take a single to left field. Damon's arm, of course, he's not going to throw out Span at first. And a reaction there from the Minnesota bench.
So Mauer, who, as we told you, led the American League in the regular season with 81 opposite field hits, takes the ball the other way against Pettit, scores Denard Span after he stole second base and after a 2-out walk. And Carl Pavano has a 1-0 lead with Michael Cuddyer in the box. Strike one to the man that picked up the first base hit of this game for the Twins, Michael Cuddyer. David Robertson, the hero of Game 2, begins to loosen. When we say hero, we mean pitching hero. He came on with the Twins loading the bases in the 11th inning and helped the Yankees get out of it. 0-2 to Michael Cuddyer. Cabrera's trying to steal third, and it's bounced foul and out of play. Outfield for the Yankees playing very deeply on the field turf. Cabrera very deep in center. Johnny Damon now 10 yards shy of the warning track in left.
Well, he got a huge jump at second base. Mauer, of course, not going to follow him. Talked about him having that hip flexor. If I'm the hitter, I'd rather Cabrera stay on second base. Let my full concentration go to Pettit.
Andy Pettit has not lost to the Twins since April 30th, 2001. He trails tonight. And he just struck out Michael Cuddyer to end the threat. Pettit upset. A walk and a hit with 2 outs chases home Denard Span, and the Minnesota Twins, trying to stay alive in this ALDS, have a 1-0 lead in Game 3 at home. This American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. And with Ron Darling and Craig Sager and the rest of our TBS crew, Chip Carey from the Metrodome. Ronnie, the Twins have finally broken through against Andy Pettit. How big is this 7th inning now for Carl Pavano facing Teixeira, Rodriguez, and Hideki Matsui?
Well, it's crucial. It's called the shutdown inning for a starting pitcher. And in this kind of game, you really feel as the starting pitcher, I have to win this game 1-0. Only way we can win this game is that I've got to throw a shutout.
Pavano all night long has been extremely effective in throwing strike one to these Yankee hitters. And you just saw the danger of a walk by Andy Pettit.
Well, that's why Pettit was mad, is that he walked Cabrera and had to face Mauer.
Ground ball toward first. Cuddyer handles in foul territory.
You know, getting
with the call.
Getting the lead has not been the problem, sorry, Chip, for this Minnesota Twins team. But playing well in the postseason late in the games has really been their problem. They've been outscored 44-15 from the 7th inning on in their last 15 postseason games.
And in every game they played with the Yankees this year in New York, regular season and postseason, they led in all of them, but lost all of them. Now they lead at home 1-0. And a squibber hit toward Harris, playing deep in the hole at short with a shift on. Teixeira's retired. He out. 1-0. Minnesota the lead. A-Rod bats with the bases empty.
Remember in the first game in this series, the Minnesota Twins jumped out to that 2-0 lead and saw that lead dissipate quickly as Jeter hit the 2-run home run. Carl Pavano, of course, trying to counter that with a shutout inning.
And clearly that's one huge difference between these teams. The Yankees 4 home runs in this series. Minnesota doesn't have any. So one swing can even the score. As Alex Rodriguez 0 for 2 bats. And Pavano jumps ahead of him. He's thrown strike 1 to 17 of 22 Yankee hitters. He now has Rodriguez set up for potentially his 9th strikeout.
Well, in the regular season, what you were talking about, Chip, from the 7th inning on, the most home runs in the American League. Teixeira had 16, Matsui 13, tied with A-Rod, 13 also. Interesting, Pavano taking some extra time. That pitch up in the strike zone to get the 1-2. He walked off the mound, gave it some thought. Make sure each pitch is precise.
And now Alex Rodriguez asks for time.
Just see Pavano thinking out every pitch. Started him out with a slider, tried to get him to chase one off the strike zone. Now wants to get him out on this 2-2 pitch. Does not want to go to 3-2.
And it's been the 3rd at bat for Alex Rodriguez so far in this series where he's really broken through. In his first 2 at bats in each game, he was 0 for 6 combined in games 1 and 2. But after the 2nd at bat, 4 for 4 after the 2nd at bat of the game. And here he is batting for the 3rd time with his Yankees down by a run.
Now with the fastball in. That's something that's changed from 30 years ago. In a game that was 1-0, you would never ever throw a fastball in when a home run would tie up the game, but you have to do it here because Rodriguez has the power to hit it out to right field very easily, so still have to crowd him. Like a chess match now. It's like Spassky versus Fischer as they're taking their time, making sure they make the right move.
Fly ball will hit right field. That ball is over to Baggy and it is gone. Alex Rodriguez has tied the game. An opposite field home run. The 3rd at bat again is the charm for the Yankee 3rd baseman, and the Yankees have tied it up.
There are about 2,500 things that makes Rodriguez so dangerous as a hitter, but the problem we have against him is that could be a pretty good pitch on the outside part. It's a little elevated for Pavano, but that Rodriguez can do that to the opposite field, to have that kind of power. Just makes him sometimes impossible to pitch to.
2 home runs, 6 RBIs in this series for Alex Rodriguez. And now bolt down the right field line off the bat of Hideki Matsui is pulled foul. So Pavano can't win this game 1-0. It's 1-1.
And again, just like the first game of this series, worked so hard did Minnesota to punch those 2 runs across, and the lead left after the home run by Jeter. And again, same thing here in this inning with Rodriguez.
A critical difference. The Yankees can score quickly with the home run ball. The Twins need a couple of hits to score, at least so far in this series. And one mistake has tied the game. The Yankees, who hit 244 home runs as a team in the regular season, have hit 5 in these 3 games. And Matsui is down swinging. 9 strikeouts for Pavano. 2 outs. And here is catcher Jorge Posada. Amazing the strength of Alex Rodriguez. It looked like he just flipped his wrists at that ball and it exploded over the baggy and right.
I mean, the left-handed hitter would be challenged to hit the ball that far on the line.
So the Yankee bullpen starts to labor as Posada hits with the bases clear.
Rodriguez said after the home run he hit off Joe Nathan in New York, that was the best home run he's ever hit. Starting to add some new ones to the list here.
Now, he had a great quote in the papers today. He said, quote, "I went into this year with no expectations." How can a guy with his pedigree have no expectations? But it has been a different Alex Rodriguez this postseason for the Yankees. And that ball hit high in the air to left. Young going back, still going back, and that ball is going to go the opposite way. Jorge Posada, solo homer. And the Yankees are playing long ball in game 3. Solo shots from A-Rod and Posada. It's 2-1 New York.
Minnesota fighting tooth and nail, but this Yankee team with 2 swings of the bat, opposite field home runs for Rodriguez and Posada. And the Yankees take the lead just over the wall and out of the reach of Delmon Young.
So Posada's first home run of this postseason. And Pavano trails in this game. All the air let out of the Metronome.
And it really hasn't been as though Pavano really has lost his stuff. The ball, though, has been elevated just a little bit in the strike zone. He was mostly around the knees for the first 6 innings. This inning, the ball has come up just a bit, just enough for these talented Yankee hitters.
Robinson Cano is the Yankee hitter. And now the Minnesota pen starts to work. The Yankees had David Robertson up earlier. And now we'll see if Joe Girardi thinks about pulling Andy Pettitte from this game. They've got a very deep, powerful bullpen. And Girardi has not been afraid to use that very big weapon so far in the series. And they would love to go Jabba Chamberlain, Phil Hughes, Mariano Rivera if need be in this game. That's how it's set up now, with New York in front by a run. Cannot say enough about the job that Carl Pavano has done for Minnesota here tonight.
He's a little bit in shock. I mean, everything has gone so easily for him, and then bang, bang, lead's gone.
He'll need some help from his offense in the bottom of this 7th inning. Kubel, Young, and Harris, the first 3 do. They have 9 outs left. And they just have not been able to hold leads against New York this year. It's an amazing storyline that we followed all series long for you. Popped up. Will this one stay in play for Harris or Mauer? It'll be Mauer, and he's got it. Well, the Yankees play long ball in the 7th. Alex Rodriguez has had a huge playoff series against the Twins. His homer ties it. Jorge Posada goes the other way to left. 2 solo homers, turns the game around for the Yankees. 2-1 as we stretch. The Twins come up for the bottom of the 7th inning, trailing the Yankees by a 2-1 score in Game 3 of this ALDS matchup here in Minneapolis. Time for our moments that change the game, brought to you by Viagra. Game 6 of the 1991 World Series. Kirby Puckett robbed Ron Gant and the Braves of an extra base hit in inning number 3, and then he led off the bottom of the 11th inning with a walk-off homer, tying the series at 3 games apiece. The Twins won Game 7, as we told you, the following night for the World Championship. With Ron Darling, Chip Caray back with you at the Metrodome. 2 outstanding pitching performances tonight by Pavano and Pettit, but the long ball ability of the Yankees has come roaring back in Game 3 tonight.
Well, it really has, and it started, of course, with the person who's having the best series so far, and that's Alex Rodriguez with that home run on a 3-2 count from Pavano. Went with the fastball away, and he just hit a shot to right field. And then later, Posada, again an opposite field home run just over the fence in left field to give the Yankees the 2-1 edge.
They keep the front row clear. Young gave it a ride and a try and could not come up with the Posada blast. The Yankees hit 244 home runs. That led Major League Baseball this year. And no team that has led the majors in homer has won the World Series since the 1984 Detroit Tigers. We'll see if the Yankees snap that this year. You said Friday night, Ron, you thought the Yankees were going to be the first team to 11. 11 being the magic number in postseason play for a World Championship.
Well, that's a pretty easy call when you call it. They had the best season, 103 wins, but they just look primed. They look like they're playing their best. Their pitchers have pitched well. Burnett, his first postseason start was outstanding. But there's going to be a lot of teams in that roadblock on the way.
1 ball, 1 strike to Jason Kubel, who pops it up out of play, foul. And the count's him 1-2.
Congratulations to the Angels today. They've moved on, sweeping the Red Sox, the team they could never beat. Or someone was saying that. Great pitching they got from Lackey and Weaver in that first 2 games of the series.
1-2 pitch is fouled back. Dodgers are also in, representing the National League in the National League Championship Series. We don't know yet who will face them, either the Rockies or the Phillies. They will follow us tonight from Coors Field. Brian Anderson, Joe Simpson standing by with the call of that ball game after we wrap things up tonight at the Metrodome. And a ground ball will foul. Twins hoping to use these final 3 at-bats to take the lead and force Game 4, which would be here tomorrow night. Kubel 1 for 12 in this series with 7 strikeouts. Pettit has struck out 6 in this game. Check swing and a strikeout. Leadoff man down in the 7th inning. Kubel's struggles continue. That's 8 strikeouts and 13 at bats. And Joe Girardi allowed Andy Pettit to face the left-hand hitting Twins outfielder. And it looks like that'll be it for him. He will go to this powerful Yankee bullpen.
A nice breaking pitch there. Kubel could not hold up his swing.
Andy Pettitte, looking for his 15th career postseason win, leads in the 7th in Minneapolis.
But it's not my time. I'm not going. There's a fear in me. It's not showing. This could be the end of me. Everything I know. Ooh, but I won't go.
Andy Pettitte departs after 6 innings and 1/3 of 7 strikeout baseball. He retired the first 12 he faced in tonight's Game 3 at the Metrodome, and here is a collage of Pettitte's strikeouts tonight.
Well, other than the RBI single he gave up to Mauer, he had everything working just like Carl Pavano. Could elevate that fastball, had that good slider down and in, pitched in enough to the left-handed hitters to open up that outside part of the plate. And Pettitte was just outstanding in his 6 1/3 innings of work.
So Jabba Chamberlain is on to face Delmon Young, who is 0 for 2 in this game. And for a Twins club that all year long has preached putting the ball in play, they haven't done much of that in this series. They have struck out 31 times so far, and now have Chamberlain, Hughes, and Mariano Rivera staring him in the face in the late innings tonight. And Young fouls that ball off his body, and he's down in the batter's box.
Well, that foul ball, Delmon Young came back up and hit him in the protective cup and just off the end of the bat. You know, with Pettitte's 7 strikeouts tonight, Yankees pitching 1,260 Ks this year. That's the second most they've ever had in their franchise history. It's a long history, of course. 2001 they had 1,266. So really this series has epitomized what they've done all season long. Power pitching in the postseason is always what you want. Swing and miss in the postseason. When the ball's put in play, anything could happen.
Power pitching and power hitting. Very lethal combination for the Yankees this year, something they've missed in their last several postseason attempts in New York. Doesn't appear to be a problem this year as Young tries to walk off that foul ball to the protective cup. He's got a 1-2 count. Yankees ahead 2-1. Carl Pavano pitched brilliantly against his former club. And now Jabba Chamberlain playing a little catch on the infield, waiting for Young to see if he can continue this at bat. Young hit 12 homers in the regular season. Does not have a hit in this postseason, however. 0 for 10. Twins could use a bloop and a blast themselves. Line drive into right center field. Swisher will try to cut it off. He bobbles, and Young will make second.
Delmon Young, of course, took as much time as he needed to feel better. Might have affected Jabba Chamberlain. That slider right there, he left up in the strike zone. Great hitting by Young going the other way. And he would have had a double anyways, I think, even with the bobble by Swisher in right field as he was hustling out of the box.
And it is a double all the way for Young, his first hit of this postseason. Yankees bullpen will start to work now as Brendan Harris bats. Harris, the man that said the Twins left a small village on base in Game 2. They've left 3 tonight, but have a chance to tie it here in the 7th inning.
Yankees don't have many weaknesses. Only one you could maybe see occasionally is that their corner outfielders, both Swisher and Damon, do not have a lot of speed, don't cover a lot of ground, and that can hurt them late in games.
They do have Brett Gardner, as we know, a man that can really fly, and Joe Girardi said he would not hesitate to use Gardner as a defensive replacement depending on matchups the rest of the way against Minnesota, but no sign of Gardner yet. A ball and a strike. And a good cut. But Harris behind now, 1-2.
Well, you and I have both watched Java start many games this season, and who knows what the outcome will be here. But the comfortability factor of watching him in relief when he comes in and when he starts is so stark. Such a difference.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Twins hoping. Young, after fouling a ball off his cup, doubled to the right center field gap. And another quality at bat from Harris tonight.
Phil Cope warming up in the Yankee bullpen. The problem you have here is we've seen Harris go the other way a couple of times in this series, and Cano's got to keep Young close to the bag at second base, so he's shading over there, opening up a pretty big hole between he and Teixeira.
The short field, however, is right. Hot shot toward third. A-Rod bobbles, finds the handle, and still has time to make the play. And look at where Derek Jeter is. As A-Rod went to his left and fumbled that ball, Derek Jeter immediately moved to his right and was covering third base in case Young thought about moving up.
Or if that ball took Teixeira off the bag, it might have been a play at third base. You tend to forget, even with this bobble by Rodriguez, how strong his arm is. Not even close at first base.
And what a luxury for your infield. You get it in the area code of Teixeira. He's in all likelihood going to catch it. So Young at second, but now with 2 men out.
Dave Ireland just going out there to speak to Java to make sure he knows the pitching plan the Yankees have been employing against Morales all night. First at bat from the left-hand side for Morales.
And for a Minnesota club that struggled so mightily in run-scoring situations during the regular season in New York, in this series with the Yankees, it's the bottom portion of their lineup, Ron, that's done most of the run-scoring damage.
Well, Harris, of course, had that big night in the second game, and Punto has been invaluable in this entire series.
Did he go? Yes, he did.
Morales, that fastball up in the strike zone. So very close. Of course, the call made by Phil Cuzzy, the third base umpire. Tough to get a reservation in this town for Mr. Cuzzy.
Now the Twins down to their last 7th inning strike. Well, you know, they wish they had Justin Morneau in this series, out with that stress fracture in his back. And the Twins have really had to scramble to try to keep up with this Yankee offense and have not been able to do so yet. One ball, 2 strikes. Morales hit .311 this year with Minnesota, but just 7 RBIs and 119 at bats. Can he come through against Jabba Chamberlain and tie this game? Remember, in the tie-breaking game, the game-tying RBI was Matt Tolbert's 19th of the year. The game winner was Casillas' 17th of the year. And now Chamberlain and Posada want to talk again.
Morales looking for number 8 here. They're going to be careful. Jabba Chamberlain was going to the slider against Jose Morales. That was the best swing I thought I've seen him have in his starts. That ball down and in. Got to be careful in that area with all left-handed hitters, but Jose had a good swing at that pitch. There's 8, 9 hitters. And they find some magic again.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2. The Twins' 3rd-round pick back in 2001, Jose Morales out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. That ball in the dirt, it's swung at and missed. And the throw to first is in time. Jabba Chamberlain pitches around a 1-out double. 7 complete. Yankees up a run. We head to the 8th inning. Yankees lead by a run, looking for insurance and a sweep of the Twins tonight. And a date with the Angels in the American League Championship Series. Matt Guerrero will try to hold him right here as he faces Swisher, Cabrera, and Jeter for New York.
Well, Matt Guerrero, of course, was the setup man for Joe Nathan all season long. In here to pitch, and you can't say enough good things about the job that Carl Pavano did tonight. No consolation that he leaves this game losing, but outstanding effort in a big game, huge game.
Pavano went 7 innings in this game. He struck out 9 men. That's a new career postseason high. Pavano didn't walk anybody, and he gave up just 5 hits. But Andy Pettitte, starting for the Yankees, allowed only 1 run and 3 hits in 6 1/3. That's why Joe Girardi started him. Hostile environment, big game pitcher, lots of experience. And as well as Pavano pitched, Pettitte was just that much better.
Well, with this start tonight, Pettitte now has the most starts in the postseason at 36. He has the most innings in the postseason. And if the Yankees hold on, he will tie John Smoltz with 15 wins.
Gigantic crowd at the Dome tonight, 54,735. Hoping the Twins can prolong the game. Ground ball to Cabrera at short. And 1 man down. 2-1 Yankees as we take a look at the language of the game, brought to you by Foster's. Tonight we focus on productive outs. And for those unfamiliar with productive outs, it refers to outs in which the batter drives in or advances a runner without making the third out in an inning.
Well, it's interesting to see that both the Yankees and Twins that are playing in this ball game, of course, well schooled in those kinds of productive outs, but the Angels, of course, leading the pack. That tells you how important it is to do the little things.
Well, and as you said a few minutes ago, if you put the ball in play, anything could happen. The problem for Minnesota is they haven't been able to do enough of that in this series so far. With the 7 strikeouts recorded by Andy Pettitte in this game, the Twins have struck out 31 times in this series. And a little low to Melky Cabrera. And with Jabba Chamberlain's strikeout of Morales, it's 32 strikeouts. That's a lot of no contact innings. Almost 11 innings, if you put it in that perspective. And facing a Yankee club that has out-homered Minnesota, that's tough to overcome. Ball in the dirt, picked up by Mauer. 2 quick outs. Top of the 8th inning, 2-1 Yankees lead. Don't miss any of the action of the 2009 Major League Baseball postseason. The excitement continues with the division series on TBS. We'll have the Phillies and the Rockies next. At Coors Field in Denver, temperature is expected to be in the 30s there too. But they're playing outside, we're not. Here's Derek Jeter. A 4-4-9 series with a homer and 4 runs scored. As we told you, Chamberlain, Hughes, and Rivera, the wishful thinking for Joe Girardi. Ground ball to short. Third hop handled Cabrera. And Guerrero does a good job. 3 up, 3 down. 9-1-2 up in the Minnesota order. They need a run to tie. Coming to TNT this December, a story about life on the other side of the middle. Don't miss Ray Romano in the new series, Men of a Certain Age, December 7th at 10, 9 Central only on TNT. 9-1-2 for Minnesota. They trail by a run, and Phil Hughes will go to work in the 8th inning.
Well, you got 2 things here. You have, if any pitcher has struggled for the Yankees, it has been Hughes in his 1 appearance. And of course, Nick Punto has been one of the better players for the Twins in this series.
Hughes was a revelation in the New York bullpen, but you're right, Ron. In game 2, Hughes with 2 outs, a walk, and then 3 straight hits. Plated a couple of Minnesota runs that gave them that 3-1 lead. And Joe Girardi, should there be any trouble at all by Hughes, is not afraid to use Mariano Rivera for more than 1 inning in postseason play.
Again, these days off have come back into play for the Yankees and Girardi.
Joe telling us again, a big advantage they feel in having the extra days off is he can go 3 or 4 deep every game if need be for the first 3 games of this matchup in the first round. But power pitching and power hitting has New York in front.
The Twins have had the more opportunities. 26 at bats with runners in scoring position to the Yankees just 13. Have not been able to deliver that big hit. The problem really, you saw that picture of Alex Rodriguez, A lot of these Yankee hitters, when they step in the box, they're in scoring position.
Fly ball, left center field. That's going to drop. What a series for Nick Punto.
Well, nice job by Punto going the other way. And because Johnny Damon is leading off the 9th inning, he's left in left field defensively. And this ball splits the outfielders, Cabrera and Damon, for that double.
Now we'll see how Ron Gardenhire plays it with a runner at second and nobody out. The Yankees think Span is going to bunt. Span had 12 sacrifices this year in regular season play. 1 ball, no strikes. Tying run at second. Chopper up the middle. Jeter behind the bag. Runner around third. Puts on the brakes. Punto scrambles back and is out. Another base running gaffe by Minnesota, and Derek Jeter, with a brilliant play, erases Punto at third.
Well, as soon as this was hit up the middle, Jeter knew he was going to get to it, knew he would not have a play at Span at home. Punto made the big turn around third base, and very alertly, Jeter to Posada to Rodriguez for the out. Look at Punto, head down, doesn't pick up his coach, goes into the slide, and Posada with the perfect throw to get him at third base. So base running gaffes here from Minnesota in this series have proved pretty costly.
So instead of first and third and nobody out, Span is at first with an infield hit. Cabrera is up. And what did Ron Gardenhire say? Mistakes against the Yankees will kill you. And they have made a bunch of them. On the base paths, here's Cabrera. Remember in game 2, it was Carlos Gomez nabbed as he tripped around second base, erasing what would have been a run that could have scored by Delmon Young. The out was made before the runner crossed the plate. And that big run cost Minnesota dearly.
Well, it's the play by Gomez, and the ball to Swisher. Makes the big turn, falls, goes into a slide, and by that time Swisher's able to throw him out at second base before Delmon Young can score the run. Costly mistake by the Twins in game 2, and another one here in game 3.
And again, for a Minnesota club that has had so many chances with runners in scoring position in this series, just more heartbreak for them.
Well, really, they're not accustomed to playing baseball like this. These are the kind of things that Minnesota Twins don't do over the course of 162 games.
And here was Minnesota's reaction as Punto rounded third.
You almost can't watch it if you're a manager of the club.
One ball, one strike to Cabrera. Outfield very deep. Would they gamble and send Span again? They sent him in the 6th. His steal led to Minnesota's only run. That was a Mauer single that drove him in the 6th. He's going, and the pitch fouled back. Cabrera not happy about that. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Span feels so much more at home stealing bases. Almost 80% success rate here on the carpet, less than 50% when he's on the road. Scott Olger with the signs. Jerry White with some advice.
Mauer would be next. Not going. And he just stayed alive.
Again this inning though with that base running gaff by the Twins and Punto. Lost in all that as Philip Hughes looks vulnerable again in this game.
Hughes 2/3 of an inning in game 2. 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Pitch out. And we're seeing an example, Ronnie, of what we've been talking about, the dramatic contrast between the Yankees offense and the Twins offense. Look how hard Minnesota is having to work to even have a chance to score. And tonight, a double and a hit in this 8th inning.
Produced an out.
An out. 5 straight men have reached base against Hughes in this ALDS. And a fly ball into shallow center. Cabrera is on the run. He's got it. And there's your second out.
We'll see that ball up the middle. Once Jeter recognizes that he's not going to have a play at Span, he goes right to Punto, heads up play, tosses it home, and nice throw by Posada. But just Jeter knowing that the fast runner Punto would be rounding the bag. He took a look at him, and when he saw him that far off, he thought maybe he was dashing for home. Made the correct play.
Tying run at first with 2 outs. Joe Mauer to the box and Mariano Rivera to the mound. Well, coming up next on TBS, it's game 3 of the Phillies and Rockies from Coors Field. They were snowed out yesterday in Denver. And with that, Jay Happ will go to the mound for the Phillies instead of Pedro Martinez. Jason Hamill pitches for Colorado. The series lead on the line tonight at 9:30 Eastern time tonight. Well, Mariano Rivera will face Joe Mauer.
Well, he's in here to try to get a 4-out save. Left-hander Phil Koch, of course. Maybe in a regular season game you might have seen him in this position, but Mauer has 2 home runs off Phil Koch, so counter with your best and clinching time. And also Mariano Rivera in the postseason has never given up a home run to a left-handed hitter in 236 at-bats.
Well, the Twins have hope. Mariano Rivera gave up an RBI hit to Denard Span in the 8th inning of game 2. That was the 3rd run scored by Minnesota that night. Can Joe Mauer, the hometown hero, bring the Twins back from the brink here in the 8th? Strike 1.
Well, these are the kind of games where your best players have to come up big. Joe Mauer has already with that 1 RBI single. And he even come up bigger here against Rivera.
We mentioned how Joe likes to hit the ball to left. Can you hit the ball left with that devastating cutter of Mariano Rivera?
Well, it's hard to do, and they're playing him to pull. Cabrera's more straight up, but Johnny Damon's playing towards the left field line. Left center is completely open for Joe Mauer.
Span a good lead. And a broken bat on that cutter and a bouncing ball to Teixeira. And Mariano Rivera saws off the Twins catcher. A big time base running mistake by Nick Punto. He wandered too far off third. And a big out turned in by the Yankees in game 3.
This is a Chase game break. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. The Yankees-Twins game you're watching is going to run past its allotted time, so we're going to start the Phillies-Rockies game on our sister network TNT. So if you're tuning in for that, switch to TNT at the top of the hour, about 6-7 minutes from now. And once the Yankees and Twins are finished, we'll bring the Phillies and Rockies back over to TBS. Right now, we go back to the Metrodome. Chip.
Okay, Ernie, thank you very much. Great job in the studio tonight, and we look forward to a great ninth inning tonight. 2-1 New York has the lead, looking for some insurance as left-hander Ron Mahay comes on to face Damon Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez.
Well, the Twins acquired Mahay in late August. He's done a fine job for them. He's a left-handed specialist. Mahay might as well be Mayday right here in the ninth inning for the Twins.
Can't afford anything else as Nick Punto ran through a stop sign. Slipped and fell, couldn't get back in time, and instead of first and third, nobody out. They're out of luck in the eighth inning.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. It's not always mistakes that are made from loafing. Usually it's just the opposite. It's from guys trying to do too much, and that's what happened to Nick on that occasion.
Johnny Damon, the batter, has had a rough postseason so far. He's 1 for 11. And he struck out 3 times tonight. The Twins bullpen has double-barreled action should Mahay have any trouble here in the top of the ninth. And into the seats foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And if Minnesota loses, this will be the final time they play here at the Metrodome. They're hoping for some ninth inning Metrodome magic. Popped up left side near the Minnesota dugout, and no play for Harris.
Well, you can see this play by Nick Punto. He's on second base with that leadoff double, and you can see circled down the bottom of the screen is Scott Ulger, who holds Punto at third base. You can see he has his hands out trying to hold him. Punto doesn't catch him till too late. That's when he goes into the slide, but too late to get back to third base.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Two solo home runs, the sum total of the Yankee offense in this game 3. And Damon strikes out for the 4th time tonight. Good start for Mahay. That's 12 Yankee strikeouts in game 3.
But Bovano had 9 all by himself.
Boy, was he good. No walks, 7 innings, 5 hits. Homers by A-Rod and Posada have him on the short end of the decision so far. Andy Pettit equally good too, if not a little better. 6 1/3, 3 hits, a run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, trying to win his 15th postseason game. And here's Teixeira, the hero of Game 2, a homer that won it in the 11th. And if you're looking for one single statistical difference, power.
Six home runs by the Yankees in this series, none for Minnesota.
And would that have been different if Justin Morneau played? Never know. It hasn't necessarily been the lack of power for Minnesota, but a couple of real bad base running plays that have cost them a couple of very important runs.
Base running mistakes, and coming down the stretch, Dyer and Young and Kubel were unbelievable instead of Justin Morneau, and they weren't able to carry it into the postseason so far.
But still a chance in the bottom of this inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Teixeira looks outside. Full count, 3-2. Back our way. Brian Cashman hoping the Yankees can finish the sweep and set their team up for Game 1 against the Angels. And the ALCS would start Friday. And Teixeira aboard with a 1-out walk. And Ron Gardenhire will not allow Mayhay to face Alex Rodriguez. So 2 hitters faced. Mayhay retires one of them. Two to 1. New York is in front. A lot of smiles on that Yankee bench. Yankees 2, Twins 1. Man aboard with 1 out for John Roush. And here, Ron, is how the Yankees took the lead.
Well, in the 7th inning, Alex Rodriguez with this long home run to right field tied the game after Minnesota had gotten a run on the Mauer RBI single, and then Jorge Posada to the opposite field also, just dropping it in that front row over the left field wall is the difference in this ball game.
So Roush will face A-Rod, who has had a terrific postseason. He was really the X factor. A man that, as we said, was quoted as saying he went into this year with absolutely no expectations. Well, he certainly exceeded many expectations after several playoff failures in a Yankee uniform. He has 5 hits this postseason. He's hit a couple of home runs. He's knocked in 6. And after going 0 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats in each of the first 3 games, after his second at-bat, A-Rod has gone 5 for 5 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Late inning dramatics for the Yankee third baseman.
Nice curveball by John Roush to lead off Rodriguez in this at-bat.
Roush ahead of him, no balls and 2 strikes. Nice block by Mauer to save a base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. If there is a Game 4 here tomorrow, Scott Baker would pitch for the Twins. CC Sabathia would go for the Yankees. But Minnesota has to hold them here in the top half and push across a couple against Mariano Rivera for that to happen. Oh, that just missed inside. A-Rod took a peek back just to make sure. Full count.
Oh, good pitch by John Roush inside here to Rodriguez. Mark Wagner sees it as up.
Let's see if they send Teixeira with one out. They don't. And ball 4. So 2 on, 1 out. Back-to-back walks from Mayhay and Roush now. And that's a big pair of runners out there for Minnesota defensively. As Ron Gardenhire again pops out of the Minnesota dugout. So John Roush cannot take care of Alex Rodriguez. 2 on, 1 out for the Yankees, looking for ninth inning insurance.
Chase, game break. Ernie Johnson back at you from Studio J in Atlanta. Just to let you know that the game is about to start, the Phillies and Rockies, and you catch that on TNT. 31 degrees in Denver at game time. And so as soon as the game in Minnesota is over, the Twins and the Yankees will move the Rockies and Phillies back to TBS. But right now it's starting on TNT. Back to you, Chip.
Okay, Ernie, thank you very much. Jose Mijares is on for Minnesota. 2 on and 1 out for the Yankees in the ninth. They lead it 2-1. Do or die game for the Twins tonight.
Well, real workhorse for Ron Gardenhire and the Twins this year. Mijares has been outstanding against the left-handed hitters. Has to get Matsui out here. Can't afford to give up any more runs. Well, you see the numbers against left-handed pitching. Postseason career for Hideki Matsui, outstanding. 46 at-bats, 4 home runs in the postseason.
That batting average number would be the one I'd be most worried about. Where the Twins, you're hitting .370 against lefties in a run-scoring situation. That's awfully tough to defend. And Matsui ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. He has struck out twice in 3 trips. And takes a breaking pitch to even the count.
This is where that lefty-lefty matchup could hurt.
Teixeira at second, Alex Rodriguez at first. The Yankees in this game have had exactly 1 at bat with a runner in scoring position. That was Johnny Damon in the 6th, and he struck out. 2 solo homers in a close game will do that for you.
Yes. Outstanding pitching from Carl Pavano with a couple of mistakes. That's all.
And that's 3 games in a row for Pavano this year, counting regular season, where he's pitched exceptionally good baseball against the Yankees. Heard Craig Sager's report earlier. But Brian Cashman, no regrets about Pavano. Regrets certainly about the way things turned out. But this guy won 18 games at one point. He was hurt. But a resurgent year for him, perhaps. For Cleveland and Minnesota. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And 3 straight walks here in the 9th inning. And Ron Gardenhire will bring on his 4th pitcher of this 9th inning. Mayhay a walk. Roush a walk. Maharis a walk. And now Joe Nathan is on, looking for a ground ball to get this game to the bottom of the 9th inning. Inside the Metrodome, the Twins have issued 3 consecutive walks with 1 out in a 1-run game. And now Joe Nathan, who could not hold a 9th inning lead at Yankee Stadium, on for a matchup with Jorge Posada.
And that's after the Twins had not walked a single Yankee hitter in the first 8 innings.
Posada, a home run to left field, gave the Yankees this 2-1 lead. That was in the 7th.
There was the home run on the fastball away from Carl Pavano. And that's the difference in this game.
6 home runs by the Yankees in the series, none for the Twins. And now Nathan needs another late miracle. Line drive, base hit right field. Teixeira's going to come home and score, and they'll stop Rodriguez at 3rd. Jorge Posada with a 2 RBI night, and the Yankees lead 3-1. That run charged to Mayhay.
Well, fastball here by Nathan. Gets a little more of the plate than he wishes. Nice hitting by Posada with that base hit to right field. 1 run across.
And the Yankees starting to think about the Angels. Here's Cano, 0 for 3, 1 for 11 in the series. A wicked cut, fouled straight back, 0-1. Alex Rodriguez 90 feet away for New York. Hideki Matsui at 2nd. Jorge Posada with a big night, 2 RBIs, the runner at 1st. A late swing from Robinson Cano. This building so electric on Tuesday night with the Twins and the Tigers. That game that you termed historic, Ronnie. Game 163, won by Minnesota in 12 innings. The Twins fatigued in game 1 of this series with New York. Had a 9th inning lead in game 2, led this one by a run. Just have not been able to answer New York's offense in the late innings. Fisted into shallow right field. Kubel is coming on, dives, can't get it. It's off his glove. Rodriguez will score. Matsui will stop at 3rd. Another miserable 9th inning. A clean single by Posada, a blue hit by Cano.
Even when Nathan makes a good pitch, he's victimized by that base hit. Gets in on Robinson Cano, drops it just right in front of Kubel. out in right field as he tries to come up with a slide and catch. And with that run now, last 16 postseason games for the Minnesota Twins from the 7th inning on, they've been outscored 49-15.
And Jerry Hairston Jr. checks into pinch run over at third base. And at long last, Hairston able to say he's played in postseason action. He entered this postseason one of 14 current major leaguers with over 1,000 regular season games in their career without ever playing in the playoffs. That courtesy of the Elias Sports Bureau. So it's a long time in coming for Jerry Hairston. And Nick Swisher fouls that pitch back. 1 ball and 1 strike. You see at the bottom of our screen, the Phillies have scored in the first inning in Colorado. We will take you to Coors Field as soon as this game wraps up in Minneapolis. One ball, 2 strikes to Swisher, who is 0 for 3 tonight. He too 1 for 11 in the series. Five straight runners have reached with 1 out in the Yankee ninth. All this damage started with 3 straight walks in a 1-run game. Almost lost in this Yankee offensive attack that features so much power is patience. They will walk too. But Swisher expanded his strike zone there and is struck out by Joe Nathan. Here's Melky Cabrera with 3 on and 2 outs. Cabrera picked up the first hit of the game for New York. Remember, Carl Pavano set down the first 8 he saw. And 12 of the first 13 in this game. Strike 1.
Well, one of the hopes you're going to have if you're a Minnesota Twins fan is that Nathan can get out of this without any further damage. Mariano Rivera, veteran pitcher that he is, he's been there a long time on that bench with this long inning of the New York Yankees.
4 pitchers have worked for Minnesota. So you're right. We'll see if there's any effect for Rivera in what's now a 4-1 game. And that just missed.
See him though standing up. It's a good thing to do when you have a long inning like that. You just don't want to sit in one place. Just get your legs, move around a little bit, stay loose.
Cabrera tried to hammer one over the baggie. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Great Twins fans, though, up on their feet still.
No one gave him a shot over the final 3 weeks of the regular season. Probably not many giving him a shot tonight. That one swung on and missed. All Mauer has to do is step on the plate, and that will retire the side. 3 straight walks, 2 straight hits, plates 2 very big insurance runs for the Yankees. Final 3 outs available for Minnesota in a 4-1 game into the bottom of the 9th inning. This American League Division Series coverage on TBS has been presented by BlackBerry. 4-1 New York, bottom half of the 9th inning. And a defensive change for New York. Melky Cabrera takes over in left field. Brett Gardner is in center. And we'll see what effect, if any, that layoff had on Mariano Rivera, who will face the middle of the Twins order in the 9th inning. Michael Cuddyer 1-for-3 in tonight's game. And for a Twins club that is looking for hope, there has not been much for them in postseason history when trailing at the end of 8 innings. They are winless in postseason history, 0-28 when trailing after 8. And if you include the Washington Senators' history, the franchise 0-37 when trailing at the end of 8 innings. And all Ron Gardenhire can do is think about what might have been at this point. 2 balls and a strike. Cuddyer, Kubel, and Young do against Mariano Rivera. Fisted into shallow right field. There's a start. A blue hit by Michael Cuddyer is his 2nd of the night.
Well, we talked about that long stretch and long inning that Rivera had to sit on the bench for the Yankees. Nice start here by Cuddyer, dropping one in to right field.
And now Jason Kubel, the batter, 0-for-3 with 2 more strikeouts. And Ron, you mentioned Kubel was such an integral part of this Minnesota offense, especially when Morneau went out, and he's not had a very good postseason. And he's buzzed with a high fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. The Twins a remarkable job filling in for Morneau. Now we'll see if the Twins can be patient with Mariano Rivera. Cut. And now 2-2.
When you watch Rivera and you try to figure out how he's been so successful with 1 pitch, he does it because he just repeats his mechanics. He has impeccable control. Used to throw 94, 95 miles an hour. That's down now, but maybe his control has gotten better.
Over the outside corner, pinpoint control, and Kubel strikes out for the 9th time in 14 at-bats.
Well, the pitch sequence, he missed with the first two pitches. One up and in, one down and in. But then, of course, went right after him, right down the middle with a lot of break. Then again, up. That was the pitch that Kubel had to put in play, and then the backdoor cutter.
And we have a delay as a fan has run onto the field of play and is trying to climb over the right center field wall. And security will take care of that. Another delay for Mariano Rivera here with a man aboard and one man out. Let's send it back to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta for an update on the Phillies and the Rockies. EJ?
Yeah, Chip, this is literally a Chase game break. Chase Utley, top of the first, had not homered since September 12th at 31 in the regular season. Connects off Jason Hamill for the early 1-0 lead. The Rockies have scored on a Todd Helton fielder's choice. The game is tied at 1. They're playing on TNT right now. It'll be on TBS when you guys are done, assuming they get that knucklehead off the field. Back to you.
Good point, EJ. They've got the handcuffs on him out in right center field, and they'll escort that fan to one of the less hospitable places to spend the night here in Minneapolis tonight.
They should have just let him jump over the fence. They could have done what they had to do over the fence.
So order restored. Mariano Rivera will stay loose. And take a look at Delman Young, who doubled in the 7th inning.
Rivera in his career has 34 postseason saves, 9 of them of 4 outs. And that's what trying to get his 35th tonight. Andy Pettitte trying to win his 15th game in postseason and his 36th start.
Joe Girardi said he started Pettitte, big game atmosphere, hostile environment. And Pettitte pitched terrifically. 6 1/3 innings tonight. And again, has not lost to Minnesota since April of 2001. And he's in line for the victory tonight. 2005 through the end of the 2008 season, 14 different teams won a postseason series, but the Yankees are not one of them. They're 2 outs away from sweeping the Twins and setting up what could be an unbelievably entertaining ALCS Friday night. The Angels are already in. They would face the Yankees if Rivera can take care of business. Young, his first hit of this postseason was that 7th inning double, but he was left stranded by Minnesota. Minnesota won 87 games this year. They were 22 games over 500 at home, but have just not been able to solve the Yankees this year. Lined into the seats, foul. That man instrumental for New York in what has happened for this Yankee team. A huge resurgence for Alex Rodriguez. And Young is down on strikes, and the Yankees are 1 out away from advancing to the ALCS.
Well, with 2 outs, you see Teixeira. He'll be playing behind Kadire.
Kadire will take second on defensive indifference. As Brendan Harris, the final hope for the Twins and perhaps the final hitter in the Metrodome. talked about the Yankee offense. We've talked about the Yankee power. We've talked about the Yankee power pitching. We haven't talked, Ron, about the results for that pitching staff in this series.
Right now, their ERA in these 3 games, 1.26 for Yankee pitching.
Ground ball hit out to Jeter. How apropos. And the Yankees are moving on to the American League Championship Series for the first time since 2004. They sweep the Minnesota Twins 4-1. Tonight's final score. Power pitching, power hitting. The Yankees a very powerful team.
Well, very interesting to see that initial Yankee reaction. There wasn't too much. Now they're jumping on the field because this team has been made to go further, of course. And this is just one of the 3 runs that they have to have.
Baby. 13 times the Yankees have moved on to the American League Championship Series.
Rodriguez, I would guess, would have to be the MVP of this ALDS. As he was just unbelievable. 6 RBIs, 2 home runs. Every hit he had produced an RBI for a guy that had always been accused of not being able to drive runs in the postseason. Just the opposite here for Alex Rodriguez.
How about Andy Pettitte? Ties with John Smoltz on the all-time postseason win list with his 15th. And for the Minnesota Twins, 2 games in a row, Ronnie, where if they'd just been able to run the bases a little bit better, they might be looking at a 2-1 series lead instead of thinking about spring training 2010.
Well, they had their chances. Just was not to be for the Minnesota Twins.
So Minnesota's magical ride into this postseason ends, as does their history in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Yankees close them out with a 4-1 final score. Minnesota will begin a new and exciting chapter across the street at Target Field in 2010. And the journey for the Yankees is only beginning here in postseason play.
Well, for a lot of these Yankees, who've been with each other a long period of time, Pettitte, Posada, and Jeter.
So a 4-1 final score. Yankees sweep the Twins. Let's check in with Craig Sager downstairs. Craig?
Well, thank you very much. Alex, it's been 5 years since the Yankees moved on to the postseason into the American League Championship Series. How does it feel, especially since you played such an integral role?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, we were very disappointed last year when we went home, and you know, ownership got us some good players, and we've come out and played like 25 guys, like 25 brothers, and played like a team all year.
Chip mentioned your first 2 times up these 3 games, you're 0 for 6, but since then 5 for 5, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. What's the difference after you see the pitcher a couple times?
Well, I've tried to put together some good at-bats early on, and you know, haven't had much results the first 2 pitches, but got a good feel for the last 2. So I'm not sure.
Great pitching job too by Andy Pettitte to get you that position.
Yes,
for the home runs by Alex Rodriguez and Jorge Posada.
Way to go.
And Andy Caravana pitched a great game, but maybe his pitch went a little bit better. How was it out there to match 0s and 0s for so many innings?
It was great. I mean, he did. He pitched awesome. He threw a great game, and you know, I was trying to match the 0s with him. It's just great, man. I got so many people praying for me, and just ask the Lord just calm my nerves, help me go out there and just compete the best I could.
After all these postseason games, you've now tied John Smoltz with 15 victories. You really get nervous out there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you do. If you lose, getting nervous. Not so much anymore in the regular season, really, but I was feeling it a little bit today before the game. You just want to wrap it up. You don't want to give these guys any momentum. Such a hard place to pitch in. When they scored that run, I couldn't even hear it was so loud. It's probably the loudest I've ever heard a stadium on the road when I've been pitching when they scored that run. So just try to lock in, try to shut it down right there, and just, we had the big hits. Great defensive play there by Jeet, and then Sato made a great throw to get the guy out over at third base. That was a huge play for us, obviously.
I'll let you enjoy this victory, but unlike a week ago when you didn't know who your opponent would be the next day, you now know you're going to play the Angels. Your thoughts on taking on the Angels instead of the Red Sox?
They're tough. The Red Sox would have been tough. The Angels are tough. One thing for sure, we're going to have warm weather, so that's nice if we go out there. So we know that. But they got a great team. We're going to enjoy this one, and hopefully we can take the next series.
Congratulations on the victory and also moving into the tie with John Smoltz.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
That teaches it.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much. They are digging up home plate here at the Metrodome. They'll take it across the street to Target Field for opening day 2010. And Ron, you mentioned you thought the Yankees would have a great shot at winning the race to 11. They've got 3 of them and need just 8 more as Joe Nathan picks up a little of that mound dirt as a memory of the Metrodome.
Well, it's just an amazing place with their 2 world championships, and Yankees move on.
As will we. We will meet in Los Angeles. We send it now out to Denver for the Phillies and the Rockies at Coors Field. Brian Anderson at the microphone.